And welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters. How are you doing, Toronto? You guys are pumped? You enjoyed the first match? You ready for more? You're hungry for StarCraft? All right, oh, I forgot some swag. Next time, keep being really loud. Lots of free stuff coming your way, I promise. Next up, two dudes from Korea. Are you shocked? Our first opponent, he's been on stage here in the tournament. I think this is about his third or fourth time. He's really killing it. Former, I think he won a GSL back in the day. He used to be a total monster, was in a bit of a slump, and he's coming back super hard. He's always a threat. Please put your hands together for Leenock. And his opponent, also from Korea, but now living and training in the United States of America. Man with no team, viOlet.
What is that shirt? Well, what is it?
It's a great shirt.
The ever-buff viOlet, willing to show off his pecs there. We probably needed him earlier on. Right, welcome back to the couch area. Todd and Nathanius, interesting first match. Zest, bit of a stomp.
Yeah, I like Bunny a lot. I think his TVP is really good. We kind of talked about how my bias wanted me to really think after that first fight he was in a great spot, but Zest is not going to lose the game off of one bad trade.
No, indeed. We're going to move on now to Leenock versus viOlet. These two are proving a bit stubborn in this competition, it has to be said. viOlet, we said yesterday, has had some really nice results this year. Nothing mind-blowing, no, kind of for glory kind of stuff, but creeping in there. Third, fourth, here and there, third at MLG and what have you. And Leenock also has had a third, fourth this year, so he's kind of getting back to where he used to be. And they've been very stubborn this week in not going out. Every time you think they're going out, they pulled out a couple of really great games and stayed in. So which one goes through now?
It's a tough call. Both of these players, I kind of said it yesterday when I was talking about them. They both play a little bit on the edge. They're both not afraid to bust out crazy builds. We saw proxy hatches from Leenock a couple times against both Protoss and Terran. But like I also said about this matchup, ZvZ is not quite as flexible of a matchup that you're going to get.
Indeed.
So you're still going to end up with lots of roaches, but there's weird opportunities for crazy things to happen.
I was going to ask Todd, actually, is this going to be another RVR?
Most likely, yeah. I mean, yesterday they had a really nice series, though, like in terms of, playing mind games and doing some aggressive build into economy for Leenock, on King Sejong Station. And yesterday, I think I predicted that viOlet will do better in the longer game, in the standard and macro game, and Leenock will do better in those scrappy games where you are aggressive in the earlier part of the game. But in the last game, it was, to some extent, fairly standard, and they did go into the later stage of the game, not just like 2 bays and 15 drones. So Leenock can also play macro very, very well. And if today he's able to do that again, I think he might be able to take the win here.
Matt Vito's incoming. Foxtrot and Nimbus have gone from Leenock, Deadwing, and Merry-Go-Round from viOlet.
Didn't they play on
what's your
Deadwing
expert's
yesterday?
opinion on these Matt Vitos in ZvZ?
Yeah, you were asking me, of all people. Good for roaches, all 3 maps.
I knew that.
I was not expecting that answer.
Overgrowth will be our first. I didn't see the other two. I think King Sejong was still in there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think yesterday they actually played those exact same
I think
maps.
it's the same 3. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, it is the same 3.
Nothing terribly surprising. The only way that any of these maps usually affect the matchup is whether or not you're able to scout with your Overlord. And I think King Sejong Station especially, if you can get your Overlord, obviously if they go for a hatch first, it's easy to check their gases, but it's also all maps that you can put an Overlord within range to go in and check the gas, usually without losing it to the first queen.
Okay. Well, anyone with Captain Kirk on their T-shirt deserves some sort of award, especially when it's the original series. I don't think that means it's going to be any better for him in this game, though, because it's going to be a tough match for both players.
The movie was so much better.
The new one? Are we moving into Star Trek
There's a lot of people that will hate you forever for saying that.
I forgot we're at the convention.
We're on the internet, man.
Yeah, and we're at a big fan expo right now. There are a few people here. I actually bumped into someone yesterday who was in the original Batman in the toilet. I bumped into him into the toilet. He was in the original Batman. I should have said that the other way around. It's a bit bizarre. So yeah, he's definitely in the mood for it. viOlet in terms of the fan expo, but our man on the other side, Yoey Flash Wolves player, Leenock. Resilient and scrappy, I think, would be a fair reflection on how he's played so far.
Yeah. Leenock has shown us, like I said, some interesting builds, some interesting styles, but like any good player, you have to be able to play your mirror in usually what ends up being a most standard way. There's no craziness. You don't proxy hatch in ZvZ, and if you found a way to do it, maybe I wouldn't be surprised, but it's not a thing.
Okay, time for predictions, boys. Houses on the line, money on the line.
I like viOlet. 2-1, man.
Okay.
All right, since you go for viOlet, I guess I have to go for Leenock.
It doesn't work.
It's okay to agree with the guy that's right sometimes.
Exactly. You can still go with someone who's an expert on ZvZ. It's fine, Tom.
Yeah, he's the expert on ZvZ here.
He is.
Yeah, man.
He absolutely is. All right. No more messing from the analysis desk. Let's head over to the commentary desk now for your second game of the day. Let's find out which Zerg goes on to the quarterfinal.
The final game of Group B here as viOlet needs to advance on to keep his hopes alive for BlizzCon. He's currently sat just outside of the top 16, but our multiple-time champion over the past couple of years in Leenock is looking to deny that.
Yeah, who's going to move on to face off against Tasia in the next round? So this is going to be a great Zerg versus Zerg for sure. The next round is going to be incredibly difficult. But who has that choice to move through? Which player is going to take this series? Spoke to both of them backstage. Leenock was the player who, felt a little nervous, who was a little bit quieter than usual. And if you don't know Leenock, he's actually a very outgoing, very funny individual. Did seem a bit on the quieter side. Whereas viOlet said, it's do or die.
Oh.
And stared Leenock down as he walked onto the stage. So viOlet's very keen for this. Very keen.
I can imagine so. I mean, ever since he decided to become Hulk Hogan himself in his physique, he's just looked so great. He's looked good in his play as well. It's a real treat now to see viOlet actually have this resurgence here. And now he's one series away from going on to the top 8 at yet another tournament in his career.
I remember this is the rematch of the group here. They played the first game of Group B. It's the decider of Group B. Leenock won 2 games to 1.
It's a close one, but let's get into it now. Our second series between these two players, as we have spawning up to the top right-hand corner. It's our blue Zerg. It is Leenock. And down to the bottom left, we have our red Zerg, living in the US of A. Give it up for viOlet.
I have to favor viOlet. I really do favor viOlet. And I was going to bring up this. In the series earlier, when they played yesterday, neither of them went for early spawning pools. They both played very greedy when it came to their openings, mostly hatch first.
Yeah.
Look at this. viOlet's decided to go for this, this 9 pool.
Yeah, really kind of changing things up a little bit. It kind of brings me back to the previous series of like Snoot versus his previous Protoss opponents, just completely changing things up and going for something off the back of it. Hero it was in the end. And, well, viOlet is going to be doing similar, trying to put on the pressure early. How greedy is Leenock going to be off the back of this hatchery first if he goes for it?
Well, that's what he did last time they played. So will he do it again here? Because this is going to be quite an aggressive play coming out from viOlet, and it could end the game very easily.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, if it's spawn and pull first, which isn't what viOlet's expecting, then it's not going to be as easy. But look, he's sending a drone down. He is going to take the hatchery first. With going for the hatchery first here, clearly the spawn and pull is going to be delayed. He cannot get units out to defend this. And this is going to be a very difficult defense. Does he go for the gas first here? Does he go for the spawn and pull?
Ooh, 2 drones were started during that as well.
This is going to be difficult to hold.
Yeah, those 6 to 8 lings started as the hatchery landed, then 2 extra drones behind all of that. Oh, and the gas. This is so greedy. And another. Did he just go another drone? He went another drone. This is one of the greediest openers I've ever seen in this matchup.
Well, this is not ideal here, Kalaris, and it's been spotted. Leenock knows what's going on, but look in the production tab to the top left. The spawn and pull has actually it's only 15 seconds in.
Drone's gonna have to micro like champs, basically.
I mean, he's got to not lose drones. He's got to buy time until he can get the Queen and Zerglings out, but that's a long time to do. Likewise, viOlet cannot get his Lings surrounded. He cannot let massive damage be dealt to them. But he's going to go for the hatchery first here. This is going to buy Leenock a little bit of time, obviously.
Yeah, doesn't quite know what's going on inside his opponent's base, so doesn't know the full extent of this spawning pull, and the fact that it was extremely late during this entire build, so just going for the hatchery to get some damage done.
And Leenock will even more time bought here.
Yeah. buying the time. Worth it in the end here for Leenock, as
Right.
much as that is
But
300
8
minimals.
lings are on the way and a queen.
Yeah.
So despite the greedy opening and viOlet not going straight into this,
Going to try and work away. Actually working away at the gas. Interesting here with the follow-up of... I mean, the speed's already on the way for...
yeah, but viOlet's going to follow this up with Bailings of his own, and now that Bailings cannot be made.
Yeah. Gases can build quite fast, so I'm interested to see how this is actually going to work out as the Lings continue to just do a little bit of a dance here against his opponent's Lings, trying to do some damage, actually winning out the war on that little left-hand side, so viOlet doing okay so far.
Queen is out, and the rush is over. Unfortunately for viOlet, if he'd gone straight in, he could have gotten a lot more damage done, but he did take away the natural hatchery. He took away the extractor, his opponent's gas. Good micro there by viOlet. He has a hatchery down of his own now too, but this aggression isn't over. 8 more Lings on the way here for viOlet.
Just a little bit of gas income here for viOlet to be able to fuel anything further on from there. Those Lings about to pop. He's going to be going up against speed. There's the Baneling Nest as well. So viOlet's really going to try and hurt him in terms of the tech advantage in the end.
Well, Leenock has to play with a mineral-only defense, clearly, from this point, which means Queens, Spines, and Zerglings. Against this attack, it can work if he blocks right, but he's not going to have a wall on his ramp to protect his natural, which is the most important part here. Sure, he can block his main base, but if he loses that second, it's almost game over.
Yeah, very difficult. Speed finishes up for Leenock. It's just about to finish here for viOlet as well, who has
10
more
more
Lings on the
Lings.
way. And this is going to cause an explosion. There's actually not that much vision in the middle of the map here for him. Those Lings, did they spot those Lings actually moving out at the very end? Well, he sees they're not there now, so why wouldn't they be there? Gets the surround on the Queen, but the Lings on the other side are the real game breakers here.
Well, he can defend at home, but he's going to kill his opponent's second base, and this is such a huge play coming out for viOlet. He's going to take such a large lead in production, in income, if he kills that hatchery here. Leenock has to defend this. This is so important for his game.
Yeah, 3 Banelings morphing as well, under the vision of an Overlord here for Leenock, as he now does see them entering the fray. That Spine Crawler is almost finished up. He needs good focus fire on these Banelings. They really want to wiggle through to some Zerglings, but doesn't work out in the end.
There's a lot more Lings coming, though.
That is a lot of Lings, you're right. 1 Baneling for 1 Zergling, not the best trade there for viOlet, but at the same time, Leenock trying to hold his ramp here, doing well with the Queens on the ramp, but the one at the front, actually nice transfuse as well. This is buying time for the Spine Crawler to burrow.
Yes, it is, and Leenock will hold on to his second base there. Well done by Leenock. That was very important for his game there. And the game continues on. Both players are droning now. They've gone back to the economy. viOlet's attempted 2 massive, different types of attacks here. One a little bit earlier than this second one. Neither of them have landed a big advantage on his behalf.
It's actually so fantastic how even these guys are set. I mean, look at the previous series we had of them. They were going toe-to-toe through to the mid-game, through to those big Roach Wars, and even at this stage in the game, their builds have been very different. The choices have been different, but still, they stand toe-to-toe. Leenock trying to defend well, doing okay. Another transfuse keeps that Queen alive, and the Banelings didn't even kill the Spine.
Yeah, he's gotten a Queen and another drone, just trying to get a little bit from what he's got left over, but as you can see, Leenock continues to hold on at this point. viOlet switched completely to drones now, and his economy, as mentioned before, a Spine Crawler is coming in to make sure that he doesn't die while trying this. And these very optimistic Banelings hoping to get to the mineral line. One of them will succeed, and he's actually looking to get Zerglings here. He knows he can't really get a lot done.
Yeah.
A very optimistic move there from Leenock, but 2 decisions. 1 layer for 1 player, and 1 Roach Warren for the other.
Yeah, we're going to have... I suspect viOlet has to go for the layer sometime soon. I mean...
Well, viOlet right now is building towards the 3rd attack. Roaches, Zerglings, and he's still got the Baneling Nest, obviously, so a big Roach Baneling attack currently. And when these Overlords pop, he's actually opening up his supply a lot. As you can see to the top, it's 44 out of 60. That's going to go further. He's going to open up even more, and he's going to flood it with Roaches. And then he's going to back up with Zerglings and Banelings to try and break his opponent on 2 bases. That's what it looks like currently. A 3rd gas helps fuel the production once again. And here come the Roaches. Leenock spots the lack of 3rd base. He's also going to move with those 2 Zerglings, and this is kind of important. What does he see? What?
Not much.
Not much.
Not much at all.
He doesn't really see anything. The gas gets cancelled on the natural there. A great trick coming out from viOlet.
But look at this, Leenock, with all those 4 gas guys, is actually propelling himself up to a Spire play. These Roaches could hit before Spire is even a problem.
They will hit before. This attack hasn't been spotted yet. It's going to get spotted No, he doesn't even spot it. He doesn't even see it.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
They sneak around this Overlord. And he's going to spot it now.
Okay.
Brilliant, really smart moves from viOlet. But now Leenock sees Spine Crawlers must start. Zerglings have to be made here. If he holds this, the Mulus win the game. If he doesn't, it's over just like that.
Yeah, that's a lot of Spine Crawlers. He knows he's up against it. Morphing in Banelings as well. He knows he's going to have to contend with a lot of Banelings himself here. viOlet's army supplies at 36 to 11. It's all about these Spine Crawlers finishing. They need to be up and running for this fight.
And viOlet needs this win so badly for his World Championship Series points. And here he's going to go in. Will he make it work, Kolaris?
Those two Banelings are trying to navigate around to other Banelings. A lot of Banelings going off, but really, do they do enough damage to these roaches? The Spines are still not up. He can get on top of these Spines. He can even walk past them if he wants to. He can do whatever he wants. He kills them off. viOlet with a great executed move. GG. Game number 1 goes to viOlet.
And you can see how much it means to him. Just the good old rub of the hands. This is a very important series for viOlet. His entire BlizzCon is basically on this game. If he loses this series now and gets eliminated from the tournament, the global finals at the end of the year is going to be so difficult to reach. Every step, every game, every map means a lot to this guy. Think where he was last year, a player who wasn't even contention for BlizzCon, a player who didn't have a visa, but right now he has everything at his disposal. It's all about him. It's right in front of him. All you've got to do is click a couple of times on the keyboard and move your mouse. It's as simple as that, Kolaris.
As simple as that, and you get some lovely WCS points for your troubles. King Stage on Station is going to be our next map between these two, as Leenock, he took a gamble. He did take a gamble. Spire play, yeah, it can be really, really strong if you survive, but, well, that's what happens if you don't.
The problem is, the way that Leenock approached this series, he's meant to be the player that's kind of aggressive, and viOlet's the player who's meant to play it slower, more cautious,
like
try to drag it out
series.
longer, exactly like what happened the first time they played. But viOlet completely switched. He played Leenock style, 3 different big attacks. First 2 didn't work, but the third one did. And Leenock was caught surprised, was not expecting something like that. But the one good thing about being attacked like this over and over and over, going into the second game or the third game, Leenock's going to be much wiser to these type of assaults.
Yeah, and considering normally that's his style, he can probably, you know, say to himself, well, I know the strengths and weaknesses of what you're going to do if you're going to try that again, so I can probably react to that a little bit better going into it. Anyway, the countdown has begun for game number 2 now. viOlet is 1 game away from advancing on to the round of 8 to then have the opportunity to play against TaZa, which is tough, but, you know, you do want to be up there in the round of 8. That's nice.
One step at a time, Kolaris.
Yeah.
One step at a time. Because right now, he's purely thinking about how he can destroy Leenock in this series.
All right, well, let's get into it as we have now spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner as our blue Zerg. Representing Yo Flash Wolves, it is Leenock. And then up to the top left, we have a player currently 1 game up in this best of 3. It is viOlet.
Leenock in 2011 was a champion. 2012, a tournament champion. 2013, a champion. For the last 3 years, has always won a tournament. But look here, viOlet is threatening that in the Intel Extreme Masters for the 2nd time in a row. Is going to open up the same here. Is Leenock now going to say, okay, you did it in game 1, there's no way you'll do it in game 2? So does he then again open as greedy as he did? Does he play safe just in case viOlet does do it? Remember, this is a best of 3.
Yeah.
You just got to win 1 more.
Yeah.
And you're through. What is Leenock going to do here?
And viOlet's all gun-ho right now. He's just going for it. I mean, he's going to know the positioning of the Overlords here. He's going for the drone down to the natural again.
Leenock is going to expand to his 2nd base straight away here. He's choosing the 15 hatchery. The same build so far as it was in the previous one.
Drone.
And depending on how greedy he is and how, you know, ferocious the Lings can be from viOlet here. Remember, they were playing around with a hatchery when they could have been gutting inside the mineral line. 2 more drones.
Exactly. How greedy is he going to be?
Is he taking the gas again? Does he want to play?
Oh.
He's doing exactly the same.
All right. Well, he's been duped. He really has been duped.
Well, the first thing is Leenock's Overlord now is going to see no hatchery.
Yeah.
He's going to miss the Lings, but he will see the no hatchery at the same time he could have seen the Lings. So right now he's like, oh my god, what is he doing again? This is not how I am expecting him to play. What is this? The Overlord's trying to come back to see if there's Lings. He misses it again, so he doesn't know 100%.
This is selling a bad story here for Leenock, unfortunately for him. The Ling's probably going to go to work on the hatchery, but again, if he knew exactly the extent of what was going on in the main, he could even go up there if he wanted to. But obviously, you always want the guaranteed kill of the hatchery at least, but it does buy time for Leenock again.
Even though the attack didn't kill Leenock in the previous game, it set viOlet up beautifully for the next move, for the next stage of the game.
Yeah.
So it was a win no matter what.
Well, he's going to take down this hatchery pretty fast. Leenock, though, with 8 Lings on the way, and Queen as well to deal with this eventually once they go up. Not too terrible.
Destroys the second base again, and that's a big invest. 300 minerals been destroyed already. Going for the gas again.
Are you going for drones a little bit here?
Can he get some? Every drone's a massive win.
Trying to fight away against this. The Zerglings have now popped here. Leenock has to be careful about how he's going to control it. If any of his Lings get caught off guard on their own, that's bad.
viOlet's a lot more aggressive with his Zerglings this time.
He is really pushing it. He's like, well, you know, your gas is there. I mean, we killed that last time, but these Lings could have been doing something a little bit different here. Queen pops out, pushing that away, helping that a lot. One worker killed.
Yeah, Leenock, very good defense considering the circumstances.
All right, so he's going to get rid of that. And meanwhile, back at home, viOlet's going to take his expansion. So kind of a very, very similar story to last game.
Very similar. It's almost identical the way that this is played out here, apart from the Extractor wasn't killed. So Leenock does have access towards going for his own Banelings a little bit earlier here, so he can play the next part out a little bit different. But we are going to see viOlet, I would imagine. Oh, he missed an Overlord here. A slight mistake coming out from viOlet here. And likewise from Leenock here, by the way, if you look at it, both of them having missing that Overlord. So actually, it doesn't really matter that much, considering that Leenock's likewise made the mistake.
Here comes the Baneling nest for viOlet. I don't think it did, huge amounts last game, but going toe-to-toe with him here with the Baneling nest as well. Little Zergling conga line for us. Being exhibited as speed finishes up. Thankfully, the Queen is there to support fire, so shouldn't be too much of a big deal right now.
This is completely fine. This is completely fine. 14 Zerglings by viOlet. Drones by Leenock. The Baneling nest will complete. He will have Banelings on his side to help defend this follow-up attack. So we're going into the same stage as previous. The second big attack coming out from viOlet. 2 Queens, not enough for transfusions yet. No Spine Crawler like previous.
Yeah.
Banelings are going to be the choice.
Thankfully, Queens are positioned really close to the ramp, so that's a nice start for him to try and deal with this at the beginning. But that's a lot of Lings on the way, and they're already situated right out here. Going to work already.
A mistake here by either side is massive.
Yep, splits a few Lings off there to try and get to those Banelings. The Banelings just want to get 1-2 good connections during all of this, but he has to contend with his opponent's Banelings as well.
Well, Banelings trying to get connections, good ones.
Oh, that's
2
big.
for 4!
Yeah.
2 for 4!
That was really, really nice there by viOlet to start things off here. He has a lot of Lings in reserve. Not the most amazing connection for that one Baneling, but ooh, saves it, saves it. That's all right there for viOlet. Oh! That wasn't all right there for viOlet.
Very heavy swings, but at the end, it's equal.
Yeah.
We had a good start for viOlet and then a better end for Leenock, so the next part of this does go on. Both players do resort back to droning here. Spine Crawler and additional defense coming out from viOlet. 4 Overlords from Leenock. He's feeling the pressure.
Yeah.
He's making mistakes here. And he's 1 game away from being eliminated in the Intel Extreme Masters, and we're still in the round of 16, so it is a very low finish despite being day 3. But
it's amazing how viOlet is just approaching this series as a whole. He's almost saying, well, actually, Leenock, you were pretty good with your roaches in the mid-game. I'm just going to bring it to you early on and see if I can do some damage. He's got this defense up. The Spine Crawler just finished. As long as the focus fire for the Banelings is good, he should be fine.
Yeah, good defense. Nice and easy defense there. The drones were slightly threatened, but overall good. But now we do see both players going for the layer, but we had Leenock squeezing in an Evolution Chamber, which is going to be used for anything here. No, I guess not.
Trying to get a drone or 2, gets 1, and that Baneling really didn't do a whole lot either, so nice little pick up there by Leenock as he dances around.
So +1 attack comes in for Leenock off that Evolution Chamber. He starts his Roach upgrades earlier than viOlet, who's now just only started his Evolution Chamber, so Leenock in decent shape. He's going to have Roaches out at a good time, but they're also going to be upgraded faster than viOlet, which means obviously when they engage each other with Roaches, It would be a natural advantage over for Leenock.
That was a really good split off there by Leenock. In the end, obviously, everything gets cleaned up, but 3 Lings for 2 Banelings, I'm okay with that trade.
Notice how Leenock's scouting so consistently there with different types of Lings, just trying to get in, because he wants to know if he's going to be attacked again like the previous game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to be, though. viOlet isn't choosing a 3rd big assault like he did previously. It's just going to be a more standardized game, so they're going to be looking at drones and building up that big roach army that we love to see.
Oh, yeah. The 3rd base has been kept the eyes on of both players, actually, here, so he can spot everything that's going on. Even the Overseer actually morphing in for Leenock to have a little bit of a look around of his opponent's base, just making sure that he is safe and sturdy. And again, with his 3rd base going up at the speed it is, this is really good for Leenock here.
Very good for Leenock, but he doesn't want to over-drone towards his newly made 3rd. As we can see, viOlet's building roaches already. Leenock continues to build roaches. That's good for him. If he started building drones, he was in trouble, but he doesn't need to build drones because viOlet doesn't even have a 3rd base. This is a big point of this game. Without a 3rd base, you do not have the option to bring in more money, but more importantly, you can't build as many units as your opponent.
Exactly. I mean, the Overseer just saw drones instead of a 3rd being prioritized here by viOlet, so Leenock has got to feel pretty comfortable with his position, although, and he's going to get the cancel on the 3rd as well. These are brilliant moves for Leenock. He is really doing well in this 2nd game.
Yeah, much better performance by Leenock. viOlet's the one that's got to be a little bit careful now, because the faster +2 attack, the better production, the higher supply.
Something just happened.
Sounds like your fangirls just arrived, mate.
Thanks very much. Thank you. I'll go and talk to them later. It's fine. We got a game of StarCraft to cast. Looks like viOlet just gearing up now to try and defend his 3rd base. But Leenock is always completely overrunning. I'm not sure how viOlet's going to be able to cope.
Yeah, viOlet's squeezing in a couple of drones to that unbuilt 3rd. But, of course, the production's just going to start to scale out of control a little bit here. 123 for Leenock, 99 for viOlet, and it's only going to get worse here without this 3rd hatchery up and running. And Leenock's building an army. As you can see, 66 army supply to 50. He's got better workers. He's got the bigger army. He's got the better upgrades. There's actually nowhere that he's kind of losing it. He's winning in every department.
Yeah, he is. He's doing so well about it. I mean, the fact that that 3rd base is not even mining at just yet for viOlet is really quite a blow to him. Leenock is looking for the aggression. He's looking for an angle. Because there's no spine crawler actually protecting the 3rd base, maybe he would have gone there. He would have been a bit trapped, so it's a little bit ambitious to do. Taking the fight out to the middle ground.
But remember the series that they played yesterday when these two went on this map? Leenock was in the lead again, but viOlet never gave up.
Yeah, he's going to try and look for an opportunity here at the 3rd base once again. Those reinforcing roaches probably swing the numbers in favor of Leenock here, as he's just had the more superior economy. Even queuing up a little bit of attack at the top there to kill off some drones whilst this fight is going on. So Leenock is just looking for guaranteed damage where he can, but he is going to end up losing quite a lot of roaches.
Yeah, and look how brave viOlet is throughout all of this. He's building drones while he's trading off his army. Very brave, because what Leenock's looking to achieve here is to trade armies equally, but that means that viOlet has to rebuild what he loses because Leenock has more. So that keeps him away from building drones, which then furthers Leenock's lead because he's mining more, he's just getting more money. He's even been able to go for a Hydra Den because of the income that he has here. We're going to see another attack shortly by Leenock with +2. Hopefully before viOlet has +2.
Also, especially since he had like a wave of 22 roaches hit the field just after that engagement had finished. All these reinforcements now plowing across. He's going to add the Hydraliths on. It's going to take them a while to get over there. So maybe viOlet can have some numbers of roaches to try and swell against that. But even then,
the problem is, in mirror matchups, when you have the same tools, how do you find a way to gain a lead when your opponent has exactly the same, if not more than what you have? It's very difficult for viOlet to turn this one around. He's going to need Leenock to make a mistake, basically.
Yeah, he's just going to have to take a wrong engagement. The Hydraliths are going to have to be vulnerable during the fight, something like that.
Right.
So, for now, viOlet is playing this patiently. He knows he's up against the wall.
Baneling speeds. This is the answer. This is the option that he's going for. If he can get a high amount of Banelings in, come crashing in, that could change the way the fights play out. But it's going to be a long time until he gets that. any time before this is ready and Leenock takes a fight with his Roach and Hydras, he's going to crush this army.
Especially since now viOlet has a little bit of supply block during all of this as well. Not the best situation. Then the Hydralists are going to get even more of these Overlords. Push comes out here from viOlet. He really wants to be able to deny something going on from here. He may have quite a lot. Yeah, I mean, the reinforcements helping out as well. He's on top of the Hydralisks. That's not too bad. He just powers on through, trying to take the fight to Leenock, but still the supply counts very much in favor of Leenock.
Leenock's got this one. He takes that fight, and he's going to push down into the low ground area between the second and third, and he will take this game.
GG. Leenock ties it up 1-1.
These two players are so closely skilled. Every time they play, over the years actually, this is quite a big matchup that we've seen over the years now. They always trade wins. One player will win a series, then the next time they meet, the other will win, and then it goes back and forth and back and forth. I don't know if some of you StarCraft fans can remember they played at a massive final. I think it was IPL, I think it was 4 or 5, maybe 5. They played at a big final where Leenock was able to win, and unfortunately for viOlet, lost in a big final where the money was absolutely insane in that tournament. And once again, tied up, going to the third.
Yeah, I think viOlet overall there, you know, with his aggression and the moves that were taken into account there. I mean, Leenock reacted very, very well to them. His defenses were good. That's pretty definitive there. And then his Leenock's ability to have his third up so much faster than viOlet in that game was really a pivotal moment.
Definitely was. Definitely was. And viOlet committed a lot. The thing is, when you attack and when you defend, when you're the attacker, you commit more resources than the player that defends. The defending player doesn't need as much when it comes to spending on his defense, because he has natural units like the Queens that assist so heavily. He has position on you because the aggressor needs to attack up a ramp. So when Leenock defends quite easily with not spending as much money into it than the player who did try to be the aggressor, he's naturally going to find himself in a better position, which then led to the third base. It led to the faster upgrade. It led to the higher drone count and all these advantages. It's, like I said, almost impossible sometimes in a mirror matchup to over. You need to find a good fight somehow, somewhere. But how can you when you're always defending?
Exactly. Defender's advantage, though, and just in essence, in StarCraft, big deal, especially in Heart of the Swarm, most of them not, with things like Fusion Overcharge now being there on Nexus for Protoss and stuff. Right. So it's become a really, really big deal here in StarCraft 2, obviously. Catalina's going to be our last map between these two. And one of them is going to the round of 8. For viOlet, it means a lot. For viOlet, he is on the hunt for those WCS points to get into that top 16.
He gets closer and closer with every win that he takes at this tournament.
All right, let's get into it then, as we have game number 3. Up to the top right, we have our blue Zerg. Representing your Flash Wolves, it is Leenock. Down to the bottom right-hand corner, looking to keep his BlizzCon hopes alive. It is viOlet.
No way. Claris.
Yes.
The baton of aggression has been passed.
Yes, it has.
To Leenock, who is choosing the 9 pool himself against viOlet now. The big question I'm going to ask here, after being aggressive for 2 games in a row, is viOlet now thinking that I've striked him with fear?
Yes.
I'm going to play greedy myself. He's going to be worried. He's going to be going spawn and pool first. If viOlet's too greedy, then nasty things can happen here. But
there's a gas on the way.
viOlet chooses to go for a kind of aggressive play himself. And actually, this is a better build than what Leenock's chosen. Because the spawn and pool is still fast, but he's got an extractor, which means he's going to have gas, he's going to have circling speed and bailings. So what he's going to look to do here, viOlet, and this is pure luck on the options of the builds here. Neither of them know what each other's doing, but viOlet has a better build. He should have Queens and Zerglings to defend. He will then have Zergling speed and bailings to counter what Leenock's doing here. Leenock is building 8 lings, and I think he's going to stop and move towards an expansion quite fast.
I mean, he's going to have to in this situation.
viOlet also has the luck of the Overlords.
Yeah, he
scouts in the right direction and says, oh, this is good for me. This is good for me.
It is. At least Leenock kind of now knows where his opponent is during all of that, but obviously the Overlord over on the left-hand side was kind of working that out anyway.
viOlet has 4 more drones. He's going to be fine to defend. He's got Zergling speed. You couldn't have wished for a better third game here if you were viOlet. You couldn't have.
Yeah, this should be, by the time these Lings get here, the Lings for viOlet pop. Hence, Defender's advantage, rally point advantage here for viOlet. Greets those Lings, says, hi, how you doing?
How are you doing? You best get ready to defend because I'm coming for you. There's 4 more Lings. There's Zergling speed on the way. This is just naturally just a huge advantage for viOlet.
Yep, goes back just a little bit to the safety of his extra Zerglings, who now start to wiggle around, but Queen's going to be out in just a little bit. That'll make sure that these Lings have really not a whole lot to say. A bit of an odd engagement here by viOlet. That was a slip-up. Shouldn't have been engaging with half of his Zerglings.
He wants to make sure he kills all these Lings, so he's actually... It's funny this, because he's got 4 Lings trapping the exit, but then he didn't win the fight.
Yeah.
He wants to make sure he kills all of them, but he's got to also be careful not to lose too many Lings in a bad trade.
Well, I guess the quicker he gets rid of them, right, the quicker he can, like, really unleash.
Yeah.
So...
He's going to expand behind this, of course, as well. You've got enough money to build Lings and expand here. He's going to go over the other side of the map now, and he's going to have this Zergling speed advantage. The ramp is going to be... It can be blocked. There are 2 Queens. There is Zergling speed as well for Leenock on the way, but Leenock needs to block his ramp. If the Lings get in... There is currently nothing to defend.
Yeah, they can just run around in circles forever and ever and ever until speed is finished for him. And he's, actually not blocking the ramp at all. 4 Lings actually get in there already with speed as well. Here come the extra 4 as well. And if viOlet controls this well enough, for the next 80 or so seconds, he is going to have free reign over this base.
Why wasn't he blocking the ramp there? I think it's just a classic mistake coming out from Leenock. But he is going to have enough units to defend this.
Yeah, there actually is some left as well down to the bottom. And another Queen is on the way here for viOlet back at home. And more Lings coming out, just 4 more.
Through the build orders here, I mean, we haven't really seen critical damage by either player. That's a great pick off there, by the way, with that drone. Or with the Lings on the drone. No critical damage by either player. But who has 2 bases and who has 1?
Exactly. Overall, this has just been delaying Leenock. He had to prepare for the extra little attack that was coming. And
does viOlet have enough to defend?
How many Lings does he have overall? He's only got an extra 6.
4 and a Queen. He needs to bring the second Queen. He needs these extras to come help. He should be okay here with 10 Lings coming in.
Is the Baneling Nest. Those 4 Lings actually going to work at that hatchery. If they get a cancel somehow, that would be mind-boggling. No. But then there's no way with those Queens there. He's just going to, well, run in and look for drone kills.
And on the other side, a fight going on as well.
Trying to push this away again. Defensive advantage with these Queens. He should be fine here. Getting drones as well. How many did he get? 2 extra. These little advantages for viOlet are slowly piling up. 14 more Lings on the way, Sean, as well. And a Roach Warren.
A Roach Warren?
Okay.
Oh boy. Okay, he's got a lot of gas here. He's going to be able to build a lot of roaches, man.
Yeah.
All right, so viOlet is going to move over now with his Lings again. Back and forth. Zerg versus Zerg's very tug-of-war-esque when it comes to the units going one side, then the other, then the other.
Look at him just working on it. He's like, well, you know, I have to move down there to defend that, but if more Lings are there? What if more Lings come in and try and do that?
No, is he going to get that Queen?
He doesn't have the transfuse. It was the one with the most energy. That was really good prioritizing there by viOlet. If he'd have gone for the other one, it would have been transfused.
I really feel that this Roach Warren's defensive, not super aggressive here. And simply because he's trying to protect his lead, more so than try to finish the game.
Morphing in Banelings in the middle of that fight, a little bit ambitious. There will eventually finish up. He's a little bit indecisive himself, what he really wants to attack here. And now that speed's finished up for Leenock, he's able to push this away a little bit easier.
Drones right now is pretty big. We have 24 for viOlet, just 17 for Leenock. A big difference in the income. If you look at the income tab, there's a 300 mineral difference in favor of viOlet here. For every minute that goes by in the game, 300 minerals more. Yep. 300 minerals more.
Banelings now, just moving forwards here with Leenock.
6 roaches to make sure he's all right here.
As well. Yeah, this is it's going to be very, very difficult here for Leenock to do a huge, huge amount with this, especially with the Spine Crawler as well. He's making so many Banelings to try and do damage. This is a lot of gas invested for Leenock. If he doesn't do big damage with those Banelings...
There's so many roaches coming out here.
Yeah.
What is he looking to kill? Is he just looking to blow the hatchery up? I mean, viOlet just sends his drones. He's like, all right, what are you going to kill? What are you going to kill here?
Look, I mean, the roaches are so well spread out as well. Banelings now go into a Spine Crawler, kill that off along with Ling assistance, but actually those Banelings didn't do too badly against those roaches, but it was such a huge gas investment.
But what does he kill? He doesn't kill anything. It's 26 supply to 42. viOlet's continuing to hold his lead in this game and is continuing to keep his dreams alive in this tournament to advance to the quarterfinals. He's going to lose an overall here. Everything's going wrong for Leenock.
Yeah, this is really, really bad, especially now with the Roaches deciding to walk over.
Look at this. viOlet's droning and going to... He just calls it GG. He can't even do it.
Wow, viOlet takes the series, advancing onto the round of 8 here. An impressive performance, a very different series, but he is viOlet.
He wins the rematch, Kalaris, and he gets one over his rival, I suppose, over the years. Congratulations to viOlet. He moves into the quarterfinals. A big win for him there.
Very well done by viOlet overall, as moving on to the round of 8 now. Accruing more WCS points, doing good. And we see a lot like that, Sean. We see a lot of series go that way. Like, you lose the beginning in this kind of format, and then you win the next one.
It's a sad thing for Leenock, of course. He's still without a tournament victory. I guess that's a sad thing. He hasn't won a tournament this year. But, of course, he finishes top 12 here in the Intel Extreme Masters. Leenock, I'm sure, will be back to fight another tournament. A valiant effort from him for sure. But it is viOlet who moves on to go up against TaZa in the next round.
Big matches coming up here at the Intel Extreme Masters, as we now know another player in the round of 8.
Thanks very much, Apollo and Kalaris there. We've got another expert back on our couch area, and it is the one and only viOlet. How are you doing?
Just cold.
Cold?
Yeah.
Well, you're not wearing much.
That's why it's like, you know?
It's cold in the booth.
I mean, just cold in this area,
It's
I
just
think.
cold in this area, okay. All right, well, it's nicer to play in cold than hot, right?
No, it's hot is better.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, anyway, I feel really good.
He's like the anti-Todd.
He told me he got this shirt because it was cooler for him to wear yesterday.
Because I was just...
So now you were too hot yesterday, now you're
Never
too
mind.
cold.
Nathan's being told to shut up. Great victory. A tough opponent. Leenock, always very
really
tough to play.
Actually, I'm at Leenock every single big major tournament. It's not online tournament, so every time I face him, kind of nervous, and because I usually lose, but close, like 2-1, like 4-3, but I always lose. So I think I needed like some trick build against him, because I lost against him yesterday as well.
You need a special Leenock build.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, funny enough, the last 6 times you've played each other, I don't know whether you know this, but you beat him, then he beat you, then you beat him, then he beat you, then he beat you, then now you've won again. So the pattern has continued. Every time you play each other in all the tournaments, if you won the last one, he wins the next one. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's very crazy, and you're a good, like, rival in ZvZ.
Yeah, it's definitely become a bit of a rivalry. You've had a very good year in 2014. Lots of top 4 finishes, not quite win a championship. I know you really want to win one, but top 4s all the time. It seems like you're much better this year than you were last year. You had a tough year last year.
I mean, last year I don't play like that much because I have a lot of visa issues, so I kind of like throw the 1 year. But now I'm coming back and practice really hard for the tournament. But I already got like 4 times semi,
top fours,
but I'm greedy player, so I want a champion. So I want a more result.
Yeah, maybe Intel Extreme Masters. It's the best tournament to win right now with all the best players.
Yeah, I have so much feel, when I won Sao Paulo, IEM Brazil, so I wanted that feel again.
Okay, all right. Nathan, you got anything to add?
I want to say for all the people out there wondering, because of course you've been able to come out and play in America, how much does taking time to do things like stay fit, because we can tell you've been hitting the gym a lot, you think it makes it easier for you to focus when you have time set aside for other personal things like working on yourself?
Actually, but like getting big is not my plan, but when I went to gym, there's a lot of big guy there, so I'm like little Asian, so I don't want to like look easy, so that's why I work hard, and now kind of not same, but getting there.
Do you think it makes it easier to focus on your practice too, like taking a little time off?
My health is now much better, really like healthier. So used to when I play like a lot of game, I get tired easily, but now I can, even if I play a lot, I can go out and hanging out or something like that, It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
Good stuff.
Good.
Looking forward to the quarterfinal?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Got any special builds? Anything special?
That's why it's secret.
I knew I was never going to ask you. I ask but never get it out of you anyway. Thank you very much for joining us. Congrats on the win. And viOlet becomes our second player through to the quarterfinals today. We've got 2 more matches coming up of our deciding games. Who's going through? We'll find out after the break.